In this video, we'll be taking a look at 5 NHL games happening on January 19th, 2026, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 10 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 5 NHL games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start, if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Buffalo Sabres versus Carolina Hurricanes. The Buffalo Sabres and Carolina Hurricanes square off Monday at the Lenovo Center in NHL action. Buffalo comes in off a win against the Habs, a loss to the Wild, and they have the Predators waiting next on the schedule. Even with that up-and-down mini run, they have still taken 10 of their last 13 games, which is a serious heater for a team that has not always been this steady. Carolina, meanwhile, has handled the Panthers and Devils and will see the Blackhawks next. They have picked up 6 wins in their last 8 games, so it is not like they are limping in either. They are the stronger roster on paper, and they are skating at home, where they have already stacked up 17 wins, and that building has been a real weapon for them. Add in the early start time, and it is easy to lean toward the home side getting the first jump. Routines matter more than most people admit. Here is the thing though, this number still feels wildly disrespectful when you look at what the Sabres have been doing lately. They are playing their best hockey in recent memory, and that is backed up by the simple fact that they have dropped only 3 games across that recent 13-game stretch. They have also claimed 4 of the last 6 meetings against the Hurricanes, so this matchup has not exactly been one-way traffic. It is fair to wonder if Buffalo's hot stretch is starting to cool. No team stays red hot forever, but the way they are competing right now, they look much closer to a confident, dangerous group than a fluke run waiting to fall apart. So from a spread perspective, while Carolina is still the side with the bigger reputation and the home ice, Buffalo is getting priced like the older, shakier version of itself, not the one winning most nights lately. Honestly, with that recent form and those head-to-head results, backing the Sabres to keep this game tight, or even push it right down to the wire, feels like the side that offers the stronger value angle. As our first pick for this matchup, the Buffalo Sabres to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. The Buffalo Sabres are averaging 3.28 goals per game and are scoring 19.6% of their power play opportunities. Defensively, the Buffalo Sabres are allowing 3.15 goals per game and are killing 83.1% of their opponents' power plays. So they score often enough and give up enough chances that their games rarely feel like low-event, slow-paced grinders. The Carolina Hurricanes are averaging 3.41 goals per game and are scoring on 21.5% of their power play opportunities. Defensively, the Carolina Hurricanes are allowing 2.9 goals per game and are killing 79.4% of their opponents' power plays. That mix reflects a team that can generate steady offense but is not completely shutting the door on the defensive side, especially on the penalty kill. Put together, you have 2 offenses that are more than capable of putting pucks in the net, both with power plays that can punish mistakes, and defenses that are good but not suffocating. Let me explain why that matters. It sets the stage for a game where special teams, quick swings in momentum, and a few breakdowns can push the total upward rather than drag it down. So from a total standpoint, the overall statistical profile leans toward a matchup where goals are more likely to come at a healthy rate than get choked off for long stretches. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Washington Capitals versus Colorado Avalanche. The Washington Capitals and Colorado Avalanche meet Monday in NHL action at Ball Arena. The Capitals just dropped games to the Sharks and Panthers, and they have the Canucks on deck, so the schedule has not exactly given them much breathing room lately. They have lost 7 of their last 11 games, which tells you this group is fighting it a bit more often than not right now. Colorado is not cruising either, coming off losses to the Maple Leafs and Predators with the Ducks up next. The Avalanche have dropped 4 of their last 6, so even a powerhouse can look a little wobbly over a short stretch. That said, there is still a big difference between a great team in a mini slump and a struggling team trying to keep its head above water. Washington comes into this matchup having lost 3 of its last 4, and they have scored 2 regulation goals or fewer in 4 straight games. That kind of skid is usually more about rhythm and confidence than pure talent, but it matters when you are walking into a tough building. The Capitals are 10-9-3 on the road this year, so they are basically hovering around break-even away from home. The Avalanche, on the other hand, are a ridiculous 19-1-3 on home ice, and that kind of record does not happen by accident. Colorado has lost 4 of its last 5 games and has allowed 11 goals in its last 2, so the recent form looks shaky on the surface. You can see why some people would stare at that and immediately think about fading them. It feels like catching a giant at a rare moment of weakness. Even so, most of the season has shown a team that steamrolls people in that building, not one that folds. Their long run of consistency at home makes a short, rough patch feel more like a bump than a full-blown spiral. The Capitals, for their part, have been shut out on the scoresheet in 5 of their last 9, so they are not exactly bringing in a hot, fearless offense. When one side has been a lead at home and the other has been struggling to score, it is hard to treat this as some perfect spot to pick on the home favorite. Honestly, as tempting as it is to fade Colorado again while the price feels heavy, Washington has not played well enough lately to justify that kind of gamble. The Avalanche have been too consistent over the long haul for their home edge to suddenly stop mattering just because of a rough week. As our first pick for this matchup, the Colorado Avalanche money line is our full game side pick. The Washington Capitals are averaging 3.2 goals per game and are scoring on 15.7% of their power play chances. Defensively, they are allowing 2.82 goals per game and killing 77.4% of their opponent's power plays, which is not exactly lights out on the penalty kill. So on paper, their numbers look fairly balanced, but that recent stretch of low scoring shows how a team's raw averages can lag behind its current form. The Colorado Avalanche are averaging 4 goals per game, which is a big number in any league context, and they are scoring on 16.7% of their power play opportunities. Defensively, Colorado is allowing 2.3 goals per game and killing 85.2% of their opponent's power plays, which reflects a group that can clamp down when it is locked in. That mix of strong scoring and strong defending can actually lean toward lower totals when one side controls pace and keeps structure tight. When you put all of that together, you get an interesting contrast. The averages suggest offense is available, but the recent slump for Washington's attack combined with Colorado's defensive ceiling points toward a game that can stay more controlled than the season-long goal numbers alone might hint at. If the pace settles into something more methodical, with special teams not completely tilting things into chaos, the path to a scoreline that lands under the projected number is very realistic. It is not always about fireworks. Sometimes the matchup and form point toward a more measured night where chances come, but not in endless waves. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. San Jose Sharks versus Florida Panthers. The San Jose Sharks visit the Florida Panthers on Monday in NHL action at Amerant Bank Arena. Florida laying a big price at home makes sense on the surface. They are the stronger side in their own building, and the market tends to lean that way without thinking twice. Still, this tag feels heavy when you look at how San Jose has handled the underdog role so far. They have been pretty solid when they are expected to lose, which is quietly impressive, and that makes this number a bit tough to swallow. Yes, the Sharks have definitely played their better hockey on home ice, and that is worth mentioning, but that does not erase what they can do in a spoiler role. This sets up as one of those spots where, if they get a bounce or two early, they absolutely have enough to hang around and potentially steal one. Honestly, you do not need them to dominate, you just need them to stay inside the number, and their underdog profile suggests they are capable of doing exactly that. As our first pick for this matchup, the San Jose Sharks to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Offensively, the Panthers are averaging 3.04 goals per game and are scoring 18.5% of their power play opportunities. Defensively, they are allowing 3.3 goals per game and are killing 81.9% of their opponent's power plays. On the other side, the Sharks are averaging 3.11 goals per game and are scoring 20.4% of their power play opportunities. Defensively, they are allowing 3.55 goals per game and are killing 76.9% of their opponent's power plays. So both teams can score and both give up their share of chances, but those defensive numbers and the penalty kill percentages quietly hint at some volatility without guaranteeing a track meet. It is the kind of setup where you could see stretches of pressure, then longer spells where things get clogged up and chances dry up a bit. With that mix of offense and leaky moments, it might seem like the total should soar, but the overall balance of attack versus resistance tilts slightly toward a game that can still finish under the projected number, especially if either side tightens up for long stretches. As our second pick for this matchup, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Minnesota Wild versus Toronto Maple Leafs. The Minnesota Wild and the Toronto Maple Leafs meet Monday in NHL action from the Scotiabank Arena. Toronto has piled up the most points of any team in the league since the day before the Christmas break, and a big chunk of that surge has come right in this building at home. That kind of sustained push usually tells you it is not a fluke hot week. It is a team that has found a rhythm that travels from game to game, especially in front of its own crowd. Minnesota, on the other hand, has been a bit iffy lately, not completely falling apart, but not exactly screaming confidence either when you look at their recent results. So in a spot like this, with Toronto rolling and comfortable at home, it really does set up as a Maple Leafs kind of game where they are expected to handle business. You can almost feel the contrast and stability between the two sides right now. One team stacking points for weeks and the other still trying to figure out what version of itself is going to show up. That is often where money line decisions get made, not just on who has the bigger names, but on who has been delivering that steady, repeatable effort over a long stretch. Here, that points squarely at Toronto as the side you trust more to control the key moments and close things out. As our first pick for this matchup, the Toronto Maple Leafs money line is our full game side pick. The Wild opened this road trip with a 5-4 overtime win against the Buffalo Sabres, snapping a 0-2-1 mini skid in the process. Lately, they have been living on the edge, going to overtime in 3 of their past 5 games, and reaching overtime or a shootout in 7 of their last 12 outings. They are scoring plenty and allowing plenty, which is a fun way to live but not exactly peaceful, and that includes giving up 4 or more goals in 4 straight games and in 6 of their last 7. The over has cashed in 4 straight for Minnesota and in 8 of the last 9, which is the kind of run that starts to feel like a pattern rather than a random blip. Toronto is not exactly playing quiet, buttoned-up hockey either. The Leafs are coming off a 4-3 overtime win in Winnipeg, and like the Wild, they have been dragged into extra time a lot. They have gone to overtime in 3 of their last 4 games and 6 times in their past 11, which usually means games are hanging on a knife edge late. Defensively, they have allowed 4.5 goals per game across the last 4 outings, and the over has cashed in each of those games. On the offensive side, Toronto has scored 4 or more goals in 4 of the last 5 and at least 3 goals in 10 of their past 13, so they are carrying their share of the load when it comes to filling the net. When you blend those trends together, you get 2 teams that are comfortable in high-scoring, high-stress environments, both in terms of creating offense and giving up enough chances to keep things wild. Games that keep spilling into overtime, with both sides regularly hitting 3 and 4 goal marks, usually are not friendly to low totals. So the overall scoring profile here leans strongly toward another night where chances come in waves, the pace stays lively, and the total has every chance to land on the higher side again. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Philadelphia Flyers versus Vegas Golden Knights. The Philadelphia Flyers and Vegas Golden Knights meet Monday in NHL action at the T-Mobile Arena. The Flyers are coming in off losses to the Rangers and Penguins, and they have the Mammoth on deck, so it already feels like they are trying to stop a slide while the schedule keeps moving. They have dropped 6 straight games, and that kind of streak starts to weigh on a room, no matter how tough the group is. Vegas is on the exact opposite run, fresh off wins against the Maple Leafs and Predators, with the Bruins up next. The Golden Knights have strung together 7 straight victories, so their confidence level is sitting in a very different place. Across this matchup, you really have 2 teams heading in completely different directions. The Flyers have lost those 6 in a row and now sit 5 points behind the Sabres for the second wild card spot in the Eastern Conference, so the margin for error is shrinking quickly. Their defense and goaltending have fallen off badly, with 31 total goals allowed during that 6-game skid, which is a massive number over such a short stretch. On the other side, the Golden Knights ride into this one on that 7-game heater, piling up 5.2 goals per game over that span, which is a serious offensive surge. They also get the comfort of playing at home for the 3rd straight game, while the Flyers are just starting a 3-game West Coast trip, and that travel swing usually takes a little out of a team early. Another piece that clearly separates these two right now is the power play. Vegas has one of the more dangerous man advantage units in the league, sitting fourth with a power play conversion rate of 27.1%. Philadelphia, by contrast, owns a power play percentage of 14.9%, which is the lowest mark in the NHL, and that kind of gap shows up in tight spots. The Golden Knights have simply been the better team over the season and especially in the recent window, with 7 wins in a row. The Flyers are stuck on 6 straight losses, and their defensive issues are glaring, having allowed 5 or more goals in each of their last 5 games. They have shown they can be pesky on the road at times, but they have not won any game in 2 weeks and are getting hammered defensively night after night. Vegas has not dropped a game in those same 2 weeks and now faces an opponent it has beaten in 6 of the last 7 meetings. That run includes an overtime win just a little over a month ago, which adds another small layer of confidence in this matchup. 2 teams, opposite momentum, one with an edge in form, special teams, and home comfort. That is not a complicated comparison. Honestly, when you weigh everything together, this sets up as another strong spot for Vegas to take care of business inside regulation time. As our first pick for this matchup, the Vegas Golden Knights money line is our full game side pick. The Philadelphia Flyers are averaging 2.89 goals per game and are scoring 14.9% of their power play opportunities. Defensively, the Philadelphia Flyers are allowing 3.11 goals per game and are killing 77.6% of their opponents' power plays. That combination of modest scoring, a struggling power play, and a below-ideal penalty kill often creates wild swings because mistakes are harder to erase. The Vegas Golden Knights are averaging 3.38 goals per game and are scoring on 27.1% of their power play opportunities. Defensively, the Vegas Golden Knights are allowing 2.98 goals per game and are killing 81.1% of their opponents' power plays. So you have a team that already scores at a strong clip, carries a top-tier power play, and still gives up close to 3 goals per night on average. When you pair those profiles, it lines up with what the recent form has hinted at, a Flyers team that leaks chances and goals, facing a Golden Knights group that is finishing at a high rate and has the special teams edge to punish penalties. At the same time, Philadelphia's ability to average close to 3 goals even while struggling in the standings keeps the door open for them to contribute to the total rather than just absorb pressure. Put simply, this is not a matchup that screams tight, low-scoring lockdown hockey. It looks more like the kind of game where both sides generate enough chances for the numbers to lean toward a higher scoreline by the final horn. As our second pick for this matchup, over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed, subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.